I'd like to call this meeting of the Lammersville Unified Board of Education to order at 7 o'clock. Just a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed, so I would ask that you please turn off or silence your cell phone at this time. And if I could have Principal Bogle and Altamont come forward to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, Board President Pombo, board members, and Dr. Nicholas. Tonight it is my pleasure to have another group of our ASB RISE students present the latest incarnation of what they have done with their mentorship program. Today's presentation is called the Recess Lab.
Recess Lab is a structured space for students who want or need a more structured recess environment. In the Recess Lab, students can play board games, movement games, and strategy games. All of our 1st through 5th graders are welcome. For our TK to K students, we go out to their recess to cultivate relationships and help regulate emotions.
At Recess Lab, we are helping students to regulate behaviors, practice executive function skills, and show the inclusivity we continuously display at Altamont.
We are also still growing. I noticed a need for a drawing station for those who just want to de-stress, and it was a huge success.
Recess Lab gave us the opportunity to be mentors to younger students. I met a 3rd grade student during this time, which I shared a lot of interests and thoughts with. We had a bunch of similar opinions, which made us good friends. Because of this interaction, she still enjoys saying hi and conversing with me every time she gets the chance to. This made me feel and understand the impact I had on these children, making me feel proud of myself.
Another part of Recess Lab we previously shared was our Mentor Buddy program. I had the opportunity to work with one of our TK students who struggles to return to class when recess is over. I recognized the need to help the TK student return to class. I did this by telling the TK student to go on a spinning thing with a timer of 1 minute. Then we would go to class, which worked and made me feel proud of myself, to find a way that was fun for him to return to class without difficulties. Any questions?
I just want to say congratulations. I think that, oh, am I not in? Okay, congratulations. I think that it's a great program because not all kids want to do the same thing at recess. And I love how that it's still evolving, and you found that some kids like to draw, so you implemented a drawing station. And so congratulations. I think you guys are on the right path, and it seems very successful. So well done.
Thank you.
Good job.
I would like to thank you for sharing about the Recess Lab. And I understand from what you shared that, as Trustee Boulay said, like you have the connection with the students, the younger students. And today I witnessed it at your school. And I would like to say that I was there at your talent show today morning, and the 8th graders who were the MC, they did an amazing job. Because I was able to see how well they had practiced with the students who performed. They made sure that they bowed after every performance. They gave a high five to all the kids, and the younger kids were actually looking towards them to, get the motivation and also the courage to perform. And that was just amazing. So I can totally understand that the Recess Lab is doing great, and that you're going to do great things with your younger students. Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to value add that I used to be a special day class teacher. I taught kindergarten and 1st grade, and hearing about how you support students and use your own strategies to get them inside is wonderful. I'm sure that many teachers want to give you big high fives as well, because I can tell you with I had many kindergartners who did not want to come in from recess when I was a teacher. So I think that's fabulous. So you're building a really wonderful community. Great job.
The only other thing I'll add, in addition to what's been said, is what I liked about I don't know your name, I apologize, but what you said struck me in that not only did it help with the child going back to the classroom, but it also made you feel good about what you came up with. So this isn't even just for the kids that are participating in it, but at the younger levels. But for those of you that are helping organize and run it, you're probably getting a lot of value and learnings as well. So that's really a good benefit of the program too. So great job. It was really, really good.
Good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Lisa Boulay,
Here.
Vanita Daniel,
Here.
Samik Modi,
Here.
Stephanie Olson,
Here.
David Pombo,
Here.
Donovan Rudish,
Absent.
Moving on to item 4, approval and/or corrections to the agenda.
Yeah, we're going to table action item C and bring it back to the next meeting.
Move to approve the agenda with the amendment and corrections.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Olson and seconded by Trustee Modi. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 5, committee reports. Item A, District Advisory Committee, DAC. Trustee Modi.
Thank you. The District Advisory Committee met earlier today, this evening, and we had a presentation on the current iteration of the LCAP, and we reviewed where we are from a budgetary standpoint at our midway point, as well as reviewed the goals and actions that are part of this second year of our 3-year LCAP cycle. And that is all.
Thank you. Item B, District English Learner Advisory Committee. Trustee Olson.
Nothing to report.
And item C is the Education Committee. Nothing to report. Item D, Facilities. Trustee Olson.
Yes, the Facilities Committee met on May 7th, and we discussed the handbook policy updates, and want to again thank staff for all the work they did to update the handbook and look at the fee structures and other needs that needed to be updated. Appreciate that we are able to support the community in this way, and I know it takes a lot of work, so we're very appreciative. We talked about some facility improvements that will be used with facility funds. That's an agenda item tonight. Asphalt for the Altamont track, and then a weather station, a storm weather station at the swimming pool that will give more accurate data than the school currently gets, so they can truly decide when they need to stop practice because of excessive heat, or when there's other conditions that they need to be aware of. And we also talked about how our community member, Ratan Kanthala, he completed his 2 years on the committee. So there will be a search for a new community member, and we'll continue to follow the same process that we've followed. And we know there's a lot of interest in the facilities committee. So, we do have a process, but we appreciate the interest in the community member, Ratan, who stepped up and did his 2 years. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Item E, Policy Committee. Trustee Daniel.
The first reading of the updated BPAR will be part of our discussion tonight.
And Mr. President, I have something else to add. We have had an inefficiency in the system to evaluate BPs and ARs in an efficient manner. A suggestion was brought forward today in a conversation with Trustee Modi and I. We're going to try a different way, a different approach to reviewing these as they're dropped, and that now that we're trying to catch up for 2 years, the inefficiencies have reared, like they're screaming for help. So we're going to add a step, but it's going to reduce the amount of back and forth. And we think that we'll be able to do a better job of answering questions and also bringing it forward with a more thorough look. So just wanted to let the board know that we're going to make a little pivot on the way we're doing it and see how it works. Because what we're doing now, it was limping, and now it's time for something new.
Very good. Thank you. Item F, Safety Committee. Nothing to report. Item G, Wellness, Trustee Boulay.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6, Governing Board Reports. Trustee Daniel.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting. Okay. Yeah, thank you, President. On May 8th, I attended the Dancing in the Twilight along with other board members, and the performances were so energetic and expressive at the same time. There were different styles of dances that were presented. The selection of music, for me, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was just amazing. So for me personally, I felt like I watched Hollywood, Bollywood, Collywood, and Tollywood all together within the 3 hours. So I thoroughly enjoyed that evening. On May 9th, I attended the Le Capri restaurant. Sorry if I mispronounced it. I had a wonderful time there with the food, and the students did an amazing job. Our culinary students, from the point where we entered until we were served, we were waited. They were just so kind, professional. They were making sure we had refills when we were waiting. So they kept us, like we were not starving. So we had to wait for our entree, but it was just amazing with the soda and the salad, the bread. The bread was just so good. And again, I'm such a foodie, so I thoroughly enjoyed the food, and I had an amazing time. I had ravioli and brownie towards the end, so it was an amazing, amazing dinner that day. And I just want to say that I got to also sit with 2 other community members, so it was just wonderful to just have a good conversation going along with a nice dinner. So I just want to thank our culinary department. I believe this is the first time that they have tried this, so I would love to attend more and just get fed by them. So thank you so much for doing this for us. On May 13th, I attended the EPIC Expo. And that's a very, very close to my heart event. I've been attending that every single year. And this year also, I was very, it always makes me very emotional that the students do an amazing job with their presentation, and they talk so openly about how much they struggled and where they are right now, and how grateful they are to the EPIC program. I just want to thank the counselors who put together this program. The students talked about they started with their codes, their internships, where they worked, what they did there, what was their strength, the challenges. They thanked all the mentors, and then they also shared their advice to the juniors, which was just amazing. And I also want to, quote our deputy superintendent. When I was talking to him, he said 180 degrees turn, and that is absolutely right. And I'm so proud of each and every student who presented and who's on the pathway to graduation. Just want to wish them the very best. And that evening, I got to share about my day. I met with a friend, a community member whose kids go to the high school. And at that point, I shared about the EPIC program. And I understood that not many of the high school parents and the community members are aware of this awesome program. So I did share about that, and the parent was very appreciative of what we are doing. So I just want to say to everyone who may not know what an EPIC program is, EPIC program supports students who need additional academic structure and care. The students, the counselor and staff, they help the students to stay engaged, to be on track for graduation, and connect them to mentors who could guide them. So this is a very good program, and I look forward to attending the expo and also getting to know good things about the track of graduation for many more years to come. On May 15th, I attended the Questa rally, the end of year rally at Questa, and it felt truly like end of year. They were all like cheering, and everybody was very happy, joyful. There were games. The teachers had a tug of war. And one thing was the music did not work at that point, but the teachers and the ASB students found a way to make it work and engaging. And it did not become chaotic because there was no music. So that was very well handled, and it was a lot of fun to attend. In the evening, I attended the capstone ceremony. The stage was full. I was able to attend the first part of the capstone ceremony. I would like to congratulate every student, and the stage was just full of our students, the engineering and the computer science and culinary. It was just amazing to watch all their achievements. Lastly, today I attended the talent show at Altamont, and as I mentioned, it was thorough entertainment for me. There were 22 performances, and the entire school was there. Everybody was having a lot of fun. They all enjoyed it. It was very well organized. I have to give a shout out to the teachers and the students who organized it. Every time the curtain closed and they said, okay, so now the student is going to play a piano, I was expecting a slight delay, thinking that they're going to bring the piano, but the curtain just opened right away, and there is a Casio right there. And things were moving along so fast. It was just wonderful to watch. And as I mentioned, the kids were the eighth grade kids who will be high schoolers next year. They played an amazing role just encouraging the students. And one other thing which I really observed was the Altamont students were very kind audience. There were 2 performances where there was no audio, and the audio was not clear. And the kid who was playing the piano did not have a mic near, so it was not that audible. No teacher or administrator had to come and tell them, we need to be quiet. But the students by themselves, they were so considerate about the student who was performing. There was pin drop silence, and we could completely, we could enjoy the talent. So it's been a wonderful morning, and here I am for the meeting, and there ends my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Modi.
Thank you. On May 8th, I also attended the dance evening at the high school, and performances. This was my first time going. I was wowed. One, at the number of performances, there was about 52, I believe. And so first one, I didn't know that. And so when I looked at the program when I got there, I said, wow, okay, let's see how this goes. And it was just performance after performance after performance. So the energy stayed really high throughout the entire night. What I thought was really notable that I wrote down was a lot of cultural variety. So there were some that were very modern, very contemporary. There were also some that were from, very, very, call it ancient rituals, and the type of dancing was similar to, hundreds of years ago. So I thought that variety and that spread was really nice to see within our student body. I applaud those students for the amount of strength that you need in order for some of them to do some of those moves was very, very impressive. But then at the same time, if you looked at their facial expressions, you couldn't tell. And so they did such a good job of, while you're out of breath and trying to get across the stage and do those moves and have really, beautiful faces to express how much fun they're hopefully having. I thought that was great. it also struck me how well-rounded our student body is to be able to do. And I know the last couple of weeks there have been a lot of these co-curricular, type of performances, and so many of our students participate in them. But then, a note from our last award ceremony was, I think over a third of our senior class has over a 4.0 GPA. And so you combine all of this and you just think how amazing these students are. All right, so that was that Friday. On that Saturday, I joined several of my board members. My family and I went and ate at, I'll give it a different shot, Le Capre. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation either. What I thought was the food was excellent. Everything was great. I love the fact that they tried something new and something different that they hadn't tried before. I know a lot of people are probably going to culinary saying, I'm going to open my own restaurant. And I bet you at the end of that night, some of them said, I don't know if I want to open my own restaurant, right? Because they probably felt how challenging it is to get so many moving pieces going. But again, I think everyone there was having fun, trying their best. The diners were very gracious. The sodas, I think, to Trustee Daniel's point, were excellent. They did a really, really, really good job. May 14th, I attended the open house at Hanson. It's always great to see the students' accomplishments towards the end of the years. On May 15th, I attended the CTE capstone. Some of it, at least, I was only able to stay for a little bit. But what I really enjoyed was talking to the students about their actual projects and their presentations. And I walked around and tried. It takes some time, but to try to go to them, and the variety of projects that all of them had, whether it was computer science or engineering, even talking to the culinary and dance students in the first session, and I'm probably going to forget some, but it was just really, really cool. And I look back and I'm like, man, we didn't do anything this talented when we were in high school. And to see what they're building and doing now is really, really cool. And I tried to pepper them with some harder questions, and they did really good at engaging and answering. So I think the staff and the districts and our students are doing such a good job of making them really ready for that next step that they're going to take. One thing that I thought was really cool is we have several students who got drone certified through the CTE program, and so they can now fly commercial drones. And so I'm like, how do adults sign up for that program? I thought that was really well done. So yeah, overall, I thought it was excellent. I enjoyed myself. I wish I was able to stay for longer. And then earlier today, I attended the DAC committee, which I talked about earlier. And that is my report.
Thank you. Trustee Boulay.
Thank you. Being the end of the year, I went to a lot of the events that Trustee Modi, Trustee Daniel, and actually other trustees went to as well. So I will just try to value add. In terms of, let's see, on May 8th, I also went to the high school dance production and agree with all the other comments that were mentioned. And one of the words I wrote down in my notes was wow, which Trustee Modi said. Just impressed with the energy, the athleticism, the flexibility, and the grace of those dancers, but also the emotion that they had on their face that really told a story with their dance moves and the music. So very, very well produced. And then on the 9th, I also attended Le Capre, just another interpretation. Again, another wonderful event. So I want to say thank you to the culinary staff for something new, something different, and it was really pretty impressive. And again, the professionalism of the students was excellent, and I suspect they learned a lot. I also attended the Epic Expo on the 13th, and one of the things that I noted about those students is how honest they were about their challenges, and some of their challenges are actually some of the challenges that we all face still as adults. And some of the themes that came up were time management, punctuality, and confidence. So they were really, really proud of themselves about how far they have come in that program, and they're excited that they are now on track for graduation and excited about their dreams, so what their future holds for after graduation. And then on the 19th, yesterday, I went to the athletic signing event at the high school. This was the third one of the year. I didn't attend the other two, but we had, at this one last night, there were 4 students who were going to college on different athletic scholarships. So congratulations to all of our students. And I know not all of them chose to participate in that event, but I think it's really an honor for those kids because it's a small population of kids that are able to continue their academic careers and do something they love, something they're passionate about at the same time. And I really want to thank Mrs. Nunn for implementing this tradition. I think as we grow bigger as a district, it really allows us to personalize the experiences for these students, and I think it's really important. And then earlier today, I attended the District Advisory Committee meeting, which Trustee Modi reported on. And then finally, I just want to say that this is the last meeting for us before the end of the academic year. So I really want to thank all of our teachers, our school staff, our administrators, our district staff, our superintendent for the dedication and passion you bring to this role every single day. We are a very successful school district, and I just want to extend my heart, just a huge thank you for all that you do, because I think it makes a difference to our kids. And I hope everybody has a great, relaxing summer, although I know a lot of you are still working. So thank you. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Welcome, student trustee. Are you ready to give your report?
Yes, and I'd like to sincerely apologize for my tardiness. May I proceed? Okay.
Certainly.
Good evening, President Pombo, Lammersville trustees, and Dr. Nicholas. I'd like to take a moment to proudly state that our Mustangs have survived AP season. We lost some good men and women along the way, but that's all right, because brighter days are ahead for the summer. The only cloud left in the sky at the moment is finals, so good luck, Mustangs. May we enjoy clear skies in the future. To start off with leadership in ASB, prom was a blast. This year we held our event in the Asian Art Museum in San Francisco, which is the ideal teenage photography space. Our juniors and seniors thoroughly enjoyed the food, DJ, and of course the notorious high school mosh pit. It's funny because every time I bring up our high school moshes, my parents remind me that prom dancing used to be like professional and filled with actual dancing. So if only we could be as cool as the 90s kids, I guess. But our leadership class has also officially finished their last event with their leadership banquet, celebrating the seniors and the achievements of the year. It was a fun but bittersweet moment for the team and was a great send-off for our students. As of now, leadership is unofficially retired. As our year continues to wrap up, our students are also preparing for the exciting future. I think a definite highlight for me this week was when our seniors, unbeknownst to the rest of us, created a senior citizen dress-up day. So needless to say, I was quite confused on the way to school when I saw people walking with canes, founding father hair, and beer bellies, but it was very fun. Our Mustang electives and extracurriculars have also been wrapping up to an end. Our choir and orchestra recently held their concert performances last week. Great job to their stellar work as always, and what a great way to end off the year. And our senior students have also left today for their senior trip at Universal Studios. I'm sure there'll be plenty of photos and stories to tell in the near future, but for now, let's hope they're currently filling their stomachs full of churros and french fries. Otherwise, I think the general consensus is everyone's excited for the year to end and what's to come for the summer. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Student Representative Rudish, and thank you for bringing some levity to the meeting. Trustee Olson.
Thank you, President Pombo, and I object to any future board reports having to follow student trustee Rudish's, because they're always so great. And I'm glad you could make it, student trustee. On May 7th, as already reported, I attended the facilities committee meeting with President Pombo. And on May 8th, along with the rest of the trustees, I attended the spring dance production. And as was already stated by everyone, I agree with everything stated about the wonderful cultural dances, the variety, the talent of the kids. And I'll just add one thing is that we have to recall that they also choreographed their own pieces and selected their own music. And that's a whole other part of dance that takes a lot of ability to paint a picture on the stage that like looks really good and have people moving together. And they were phenomenal at that. And I'm grateful that we have the facilities we have, the theater with the dance studio provided by Measure L that enabled them to have these opportunities. On May 9th, I attended La Caper, to give it another pronunciation, the culinary evening. And as was stated by our fellow trustees, it was really wonderful. It was truly a one. I felt like I was in Europe. Actually, the ambiance was very nice, and it was like a European restaurant because you weren't just eating and running. You were eating and conversing, and you were enjoying like your food little by little, and the food was delicious. The students were so well prepared and kind. And so I love that they're doing these things with our CTE programs. And this is a wonderful way to cap off the culinary program for those students. On May 12th, I attended the orchestra and choir concerts at Mountain House High School. Just, again, amazing. The music teachers do a phenomenal job with these students. And I'm blown away by the performance quality of even the beginning groups, that some of those high school beginners, have never played a string instrument before high school, and yet they're picking it up and they're doing wonderful, and I just, good music is just wonderful. And then on May 13th, I wasn't able to attend the Epic event. I missed it, and I had to work. I wish I could always not work when these things are happening, but I did have the opportunity to speak to the student after, who was the supervisor for Jimmy's group. And I really appreciated him talking to me personally about the experience, because, I echo what Trustee Daniel said. These kids, these opportunities for them, it's wonderful. And I'm so grateful that our high school has its own alternative program within our high school, so these kids don't have to go elsewhere and they feel included. And I think that that's truly epic. On May 14th, I attended the Cuesta open house, and I visited the PE teachers as well as other rooms, and they were very grateful, because people often forget to visit them, but they are an important part of our schools, and it was wonderful to learn about how much they care about our students, just like everyone else. And then I attended the band concert, and again, phenomenal. We have a jazz band, and that was great to, with someone from choir singing and performing. And so just so many talented students. It was really wonderful. And I wish I couldn't stay for like the last couple songs, because I had to skip over to the city council meeting where I reported on our board. With Dr. Nicholas's blessing, I informally invited them to graduation and let them know that the district was sending them their official invites. And then on May 16th, I attended prom drop-off, and I watched for an hour, because it was just amazing watching these beautiful dresses come in, and I couldn't believe how many buses. I asked how many students attended prom. It was 728 students. That's a lot of buses. That's a lot of supervision and coordinating. And so I'm really grateful to the staff who volunteer for that adjunct duty, because I know that's a big ask. And the kids, as Student Trustee Rudish reported, had a great time, and you all looked fabulous. So I know that those pictures are probably awesome, because it was a really wonderful venue. And on May 18th, I attended the CSBA webinar on the May revise for the budget, which is always very interesting and something that we try to pay attention to, because Governor Newsom's trying to do these sneaky things with Prop 98 funding that deserves to go to education. And I will continue to advocate in my capacity, and I hope that everyone around the state is up in his ear about no, don't do that. On May 19th, I attended the athletic signing with some other trustees, and it was wonderful to see students who are pursuing their dreams and getting a chance to play their sport outside of high school, because those things can help them throughout their lives. And lastly, to conclude my report, I will say I did see the Universal trip departure. I took a picture of the faculty volunteers, and I think it would be really fun to go do an after pic tomorrow morning and just put them side by side. But I want to conclude my report by, and this, I wasn't able to get this as an agenda item, but in the past, I know we've had some trustees that have wanted to offer a scholarship for different things that are important to them and that they want to support students with. And my family is so touched by all of the wonderful performing arts. And I hope I don't cry when I say this, but truly drama, violin, orchestra, choir, band, amping up the marching band. These are spaces for some kids that are like their home at school and where they feel safe. And not only that, they're developing a talent they can take away with them the rest of their lives. And I know some of these students want to pursue it in college, and it's not an easy path. So in that vein, my family, the Olson family, wants to offer an annual $1,000 scholarship for students in Mountain House High School who are pursuing visual and performing arts and plan to do so in college, or go to a program, if it's not a college, like a training for, I don't know, acting school or whatever those are. And so that is my ask with the consensus of the board, that we allow that to be an opportunity for our students. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. And I think that's a wonderful and generous offer by the Olson family. On May 7th, I attended the already mentioned Facilities Committee meeting. On the 8th, I, along with the rest of the board, attended the Synergy Dance, Dancing into the Twilight, and I too was struck by the energy and the performances. I was also struck by the fact that I recognize a lot of the faces that are dancing from other extracurriculars, from drama and other things, and I think it's really wonderful that we have kids that are involved in multiple activities, and the fact that they're afforded the opportunity to be involved in multiple opportunities. On May 9th, I attended the culinary dinner, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name. It's been botched so many times, I don't want to do it again. But
Come on, we got to hear the Portuguese version.
I thought it was carpe, like carpe diem. And the food was wonderful. The ambiance was wonderful. The wait staff, as it were very accommodating and seemed to be well trained and well prepared for the event. On May 12th, I attended the LSF meeting. On the 13th, I, along with several of my fellow trustees, attended the Epic Expo, and I too am impressed by the students and by the opportunity that they're given through that program. On the 13th in the afternoon, I attended a CSBA Region 8 Zoom meeting for delegates, where we mostly discussed the upcoming delegate assembly. On the 15th, I unfortunately missed the capstone ceremony. I've been to it every year that it's been held, I believe, but this year it was in conflict with two of my granddaughters' dance recital, and so I had to make a choice, and I think I made the right one. On the 16th and 17th, I was in Sacramento for the CSBA Delegate Assembly, where we primarily discussed legislation in the state and at the state and federal level that affects education and the like. Then in the afternoon on the 17th, I attended the graduation of the Canada Gurukula, which is the one of the foreign language programs offered at Mountain House High School. Very impressed by some of those students. And again, I was impressed. Many of those students had been also participants in the TED Ed talk. In fact, several of them were here at the last board meeting representing the TED Ed talk program. On the 18th, I, along with Trustee Olson, attended the CSBA May Revise webinar, and it was a mixed bag. There was some good news, but as Trustee Olson mentioned, the governor is still trying to steal money from education, unfortunately. Hopefully CSBA and others can keep him from achieving that. On the 19th, I attended the Lammersville School Volunteer Tea along with my wife and granddaughter. All of us have volunteered at the school there. And then in the evening, I attended the athletic signing at Mountain House High School, and very proud of the fact that many of our kids are moving on to college for many pursuits, including athletics, and that concludes my report. Moving on to item 7, receiving of public comments. Would anyone like to make a public comment? Seeing none and having no blue cards, I will dispense with reading of the part here. Moving on to item 8, consent items for consideration. Governing Board meeting minutes, contracts under $50,000, ratification of certificated and classified personnel actions, updated 2025-2026 fundraisers, and my computer just decided to jump. New 2026-2027 fundraisers, ratification of 2026-2027 inter and intra-district transfer requests, ratification of budget revisions warrant list for April 2026, ratification of school-sponsored overnight trips, approval of early high school graduation or reduction of graduation requirements for one student, and acceptance of donations, 23 formal dresses from Lavender Formal valued at $8,200 for Mountain House High School students to use as needed. Would any board member like to pull or further discuss any of the items in the consent items?
Mr. President, there is a typo that we are correcting on the CPR. Someone used the letter 6 instead of 9, so it's $29,636.94 for the record.
So the motion will include the corrections, please.
I moved.
I
Sorry, you have a question?
Yes, sorry. I have a question. Under the contracts under 50,000, under the student services, we have the Daybreak Health, which is a $0 right now. So my question is, at what point do we start paying for this service? Do we know that? Sorry.
It's free forever,
Forever. Okay,
and we're happy to accept it for free.
that's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
It's
I
free to
have
the
heard
district, right? Students go through
students.
insurance and so forth?
Correct, yes.
Right.
Yes. It's just a partnership through the public health initiatives through the state.
Okay, thank you.
I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve consent items as amended.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Daniel, student trustee preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. And will the clerk please do the honors?
With pleasure, President Pombo. For 25-26 school year, we'd like to welcome Maria Andrade, Supervisor of Operations, Laxmi Koturi, Instructional Aide, Kaylin Means, SPED Classroom Instructional Aide, Elizabeth Neri, K-8 Office Supervisor, Linnea Phillip, ELOP Instructional Aide, Sudha Prabhu, SPED Classroom Instructional Aide, and Jetta Stevens, ELOP Instructional Aide. And for the 2026-2027 year, we'd like to welcome Stephen Mena, SDC teacher, Jacqueline Neft, Coordinator of Special Education, and Kate Schoenberger, SDC teacher. Welcome to the Lammersville family.
Moving on to item 9, district administrative reports. Item A, superintendent's report. Dr. Nicholas?
Yes, I just have a few brief announcements. First of all, I was sent an email today. Our boys tennis team won its umpteenth section championship. We want to thank and congratulate Coach Sue and the players. My understanding is that this is a loaded team of freshmen and sophomores, so not to put any pressure, but it might look good in the future. Number 2. After a 3-year wait, it was announced that the state funds for the construction of Costa Elementary School. Just want to point out we're in the process of opening Pombo Elementary School, and the original plan was that the state funds would come in as you were building, but a 3-year delay is what it is. The amount is $24,700,000. It appears they didn't quite give us the interest while the money sat on the list like they have in the past, and we're still researching that. But all total, we have some bills to pay, and we need to put much of that money aside in the case that we need to add more classrooms at Costa. So that's what we'll do with those funds. The other cool thing is Moody's rating system came out with their rating for our school district, and we continue to be a very high rating. It's called a high quality rating with a very low credit risk. We are a AA3. So congratulations. If we wanted to do any corporate work, I guess that would be a good way to borrow a big chunk of money. But all in all, it means our properties are valued. And then we have a very brief picture of the already very well explained Epic Expo. So if we'll just take a look there. And we want to thank Noel for putting that together. If you could put that back up and just show the first picture. I wanted to point out that I was mortified at my son's haircut, but I found out that somebody else has a similar haircut. So this is my young one in the middle there. Actually, that could be my son, Zach. Might have been. He likes to sneak into things. So we want to thank Mr. LeGrand for working with the boys and all the great work around this building. And if that was my son, he hasn't done much work around the house with the shovel. So, all right. And then finally, weather report subject to change. It looks like high school graduation will be in the mid 80s. Not 100 and whatever it was last year. So, and Mr. President, that's my report.
And will the wind be below or above hurricane force?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Why are we going to be in the 80s? That's the question.
I do have one question. Do you know ballpark what that interest is that we're hoping to get? What that would
On the
amount to?
Moody rating?
No, on the
State
Cortez
funds.
state matching funds.
I don't know what it is. It usually came in when that amount of money was sitting. We usually get about $2.4 million more. But there have been times in the past where we got zero. So it depends on what the rules are in the Prop 2. But we were hoping that would be added on, and it doesn't appear that it was.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
Item B, district enrollment report.
Yes, so we currently have 8,239. It appears that Mountain House High School will finish the year somewhere around 2545. And Pombo has 80 K-8 students and an increase in high school to 19, so a total of 99 students. And numbers are starting to roll in now, so all good stuff.
Thank you. Moving on to item C, student services.
So before Assistant Superintendent Busuttil speaks, I wanted to take a personal privilege and kind of speak to the community and the board about a matter. Direction is given from the top, and staff executes to the best of their ability that direction. Direction to do some follow through on what Assistant Superintendent Busuttil is going to talk about momentarily. This community loves education. This community is supportive of our school system. This community loves kids. It is a great thing. There are individuals in this community that I want to speak to who are probably not watching, but I'm going to say it anyways. They need to chill out. they need to back off, and our staff is off limits. We have individuals, a very small number, calling low-level staff who are simply doing their job and unleashing tirades of profanity that are completely unlike the spirit of this community. It's unacceptable. It's beneath Lammersville Unified. It's beneath Mountain House. And those individuals need to grow up. They need to simply understand that this process is to make sure that people aren't stealing seats from kids who live in the community and doing a little extra paperwork to make sure that those seats are protected is a perfectly acceptable activity. And I'll take responsibility for that direction, but low-level staff are off limits. Excuse that little speech, but that needed to be done. And now for a very exciting presentation.
Good evening, President Pombo, trustees, Dr. Nicholas. Thank you for having me here this evening to provide a little bit of an update on our address verification process. So just as a reminder, the why, this isn't something that we're required to do. It's something that we're just making sure, because at the end of the day, our student enrollment determines our number of classes, our sections for courses, which then in turn drives our staffing needs. And at the end of the day, we're trying to protect our resources, whether it's our textbooks, our Chromebooks, our classified staff, our certificated staff, or the finite number of classrooms that we have. We want to make sure that the seats and our materials are going to our students that reside in our district or are here on an approved intra-district transfer or inter-district transfer request. So during the 24-25 school year, we did our first cohort launch for our students that were in 8th grade at that time. This is currently our freshman class because we knew that our high school was going to have a more restricted number of seats than our elementary schools. And so last year there were 2 initial communications. A third communication was sent out via certified mail, regular mail, and then another direct email to families in April. And then the final communication was sent out May 15th. To date, we have verified 89% of our current freshman cohort. And in addition to the students that rolled over from last year into this year, that's the 89%. We also have other students whose addresses are verified naturally through the enrollment process because they're new students to our district. Now, for this school year, the 25-26 school year, in addition to continuing to follow up with the families from last year, we also added the 5th grade class and the new 8th grade class. And so to date, you can see that we've sent out 7 communications to families. For our 5th grade cohort, we have an 84.7 verification rate, and our current 8th grade cohort is at 87.5%. And you can see we do have between 80 almost to 90 unverified students currently that staff is following up with. Their most recent communications have outlined that if we don't receive the necessary documents, that they will be disenrolled as of the last day of school. With that, we did have some findings. We found through all of the addresses that have been verified, 6 students were not residing within our district boundaries. Those families were directed to fill out the necessary inter-district transfer paperwork. And then we had 74 students that there are students, but they might be living in Cuesta Village but attending Cortez or something similar to that. So those families were directed and given the resources to fill out an intra-district transfer request. And then looking ahead to 26-27, we are looking to add an additional grade level. Just keep in mind, as you saw, it takes a lot of staff time. There's a lot of communications because families are busy and or they're just not responding to staff communication. So next year we'll be doing 3rd, 5th, and 8th grade. Families that would be exempt is, of course, any new enrollees or students who were verified through the 24-25 or 25-26 school years because they might have been verified because their sibling was in 5th or 8th grade on one of those prior years. And so that automatically verifies things for the students in the other grade levels as well. Any questions?
Thank you for the update. I think it's something new that we've done right in the last year or so. So I think it's nice to see kind of some of the results. I do have maybe a comment and a question. I'll ask the question first. How many years do you think as a grace period, so as we do this in subsequent years, how many look back years do you get that you're exempt from the next one? I don't know if there's a science to it.
Track some of that information of how long some of our families have been. We can pull some of that, but I would estimate like every 3 years or so, a family should have to verify at least for one grade level, and then that would verify if they have multiple students in our district.
Okay, so about 3 years.
That's what I would estimate.
I didn't know. I think when this first was presented, I didn't know the lengths to which staff would go to try to contact the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you go back maybe a couple slides to the current iteration of it, right, this one, personally, I think this is too much. And I'm not saying to stop, but in the sense of, I do think there's some onus on the community to respond to things like this. And, you know, it's for your children. I do like the idea that none of these seem to have cost to it. I don't see certified mail on this list. It was on the first one. So I was concerned about the cost of sending that many certified mails, because the post office has also raised their rates. And so again, not giving direction, but I think staff should consider, do we need 7 communications and that's the final one, or is it
Right.
5? I don't know the answer, but I think you guys are doing more than you probably need to. And I think some of the onus needs to be on the community and the parents and the families to either provide the documentation or at least get in contact with staff so that staff's not chasing. I just don't think that's a lot of valuable expenditure of our staff's time. But overall, appreciate the work, and it's great to see some of the results. And I think this validates, I think what the hypothesis was, that we think the rate is really low.
Correct.
And it sounds like this helps validate that. And so if we square that result with the amount of time that we're doing to validate a very
Right.
low number, then, things to consider as you kind of continue down this road. But thank you again.
I would just like to comment on Trustee Modi's assertion that this is too many communications. I would wager that some of these parents who are among the 87 who have not responded have gotten these 7 contacts and still will say, I had no idea I was supposed to do that.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
I think it's
I don't.
difficult.
I agree with you, right? And some of it people are busy, I think, as you had referenced, and it happens. But 7 is, come on, right? And again, I'm worried about the incremental value of each additional hour that staff spends on something like this, and it's very, very, very diminishing returns at some point, right? You're hitting this Pareto curve.
I mean, that's true what you say. It's also true that I think staff has a good idea of what, I think their judgment is correct in what they do. And I think that, if they're reaching out that many times, it's because they want to, because the alternative is disenrolling a student who actually resides here. I mean, and I agree, the onus should be on the parent, and the parent, you didn't turn in your documents, but that could create actually more work for staff if they disenroll a student and then the parent's like, wait a minute, and who knows what could happen. So
That's their
agree with
that's their
what-
communication.
I agree with what you're saying in theory, but I also think that I trust staff's judgment on this one because they
agree.
interact with the families on a daily basis.
In these emails, are we given a deadline for when they need to have it done, and not being the last day of the school year? Because then if you have the entire school year to get it done, people are going to let it ride for a while.
There was deadlines. We keep trying to provide grace and another opportunity. Like, this is your last final notice.
Okay. Yeah. Thank
But
you.
we've reached the threshold.
your final.
Yes. Yes.
There are other districts, I believe, that do it more even rigidly than this, right? They do it every year. You need to I
Correct.
think Dublin is one, maybe as an example.
Yes.
And so, I don't know what to say.
Did we
I'm so
do
lost.
this last year too? Did we send out 7 communications last year?
So last year we sent out 2 initial communications, and then we followed up in the spring because staff was doing the new launch, and then they also had, so then we had to play catch up with the other students that we hadn't, their families hadn't responded previously, which their certified mailing, while more expensive than one would like, it did have a tremendous impact, and it boosted up the verification because all of a sudden people were getting certified letters. And so it did jump from like 40 something percent to 89%. So
I suppose a certified letter amps up the seriousness of the communication.
correct.
And I'm just curious, like last year, the no response was 70. I mean, I don't know whether it was after 5:15, but I'm just curious to know, like, were there more responses towards the final communication, or how did it go about?
So the no response is the 70. That was as of this last one, the 15th of Friday, this past May 15th. And so the certified mailing that went out from on 4/24, that's what jumped it from like 40 something percent to the 89%. So it was a lot higher non-response rate prior to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item D, District Maintenance and Operations Report.
Good evening.
Welcome.
So the first thing we have is the pool. We did receive the wrong part for our autofill valve, so we're still waiting on that now. It'll be 2 or 3 weeks before we get that. But there's no other issues. We did replace the lane flags at the pool as well, and the heaters and solar are working well, so there's no temperature issues. With the weather warming up slightly lately, the fields are showing signs of distress, so we have increased the water usage on those as well. And then we currently right now have about 8 to 10 HVAC calls every day that we're working through at multiple sites. Schools right now are being cleaned and prepared for promotions and graduations that are coming up. And then currently we have one opening for a lead custodian next year.
Questions or comments?
I just had one comment. I saw the lane flags at the pool. They look really nice. I'm amazed that the ones that were previous lasted as long as they did, given how much wind we have. But they held up for a while.
Thank you. Item E, Cafeteria Financial Report, April 2026.
So we're going to have Director Hill give a presentation, but I always like to point out we're very fortunate to have the best. Our kids are fed well. The staff is treated well. It's a program that makes money, which you're about to find out. And we're very fortunate to have it all come together under the leadership of Bernie.
Thank you. Good evening, Governing Board, Dr. Nicholas. The Food Service Department has had an accomplished year. We've been very busy in our kitchens. So far this year, we have served 245,000 breakfasts, 691,000 lunches for a total of 549 meals. That was at the end of April. We've seen a slight decrease in overall meals served. Our elementary schools have had an increase in breakfast participation, but a slight decrease in lunch participation. However, we've had a little bit of a nice spike all the way around in April. We are unfortunately attributing the decline in participation to the lack of popularity in the Chana Masala. I'm really sad to say that because we worked really hard this year to try and make something different work. The high school has seen the exact opposite. They have had a consistent decrease in participation for breakfast, but an increase in participation for lunch. So I'll take that. That being said, our revenue to date is about $4.8 million, with expenses coming in at about $4.1 million, both at an increase from last year. And so far this year, we have a surplus of $792,000. Our focus this year continues to be on our employees. I'm happy to say that we still have employees participating in the Chef and Apprentice and Pre-Apprentice programs. We have had one apprentice at our high school, and we had 9 apprentices from the other schools, 2 of which were actually outside community members who participated. We brought them into our kitchens. These are let's go this way. There we go. There's some of our apprentices and pre-apprentices. These pictures are some of them doing taste tests. They would come up with a product or a recipe, make the item, set up the taste test with the students, and then get their feedback. At the high school, we used a QR code to ask them to participate in a short survey. We received about 40% response, which we think is pretty good. At the elementary schools, they put a sticker on a like it, don't like it, would eat it again to indicate their opinion. We taste tested a black bean salad, which is shown here at Bethany, a breakfast scrambler, and a Nashville tender mac and cheese, which the high schoolers wanted served the next day. We're also very excited about replacing old equipment. Bethany received 4 new combi ovens, which you can see here in this picture, over spring break. These ovens are becoming a standard in our district. They have the capability for us to create pre-programmed recipes that can be shared electronically between the machines and other kitchens. This will allow for more consistency in food across the district. Wickland will be receiving 4 new ovens over the summer, and Cuesta will be receiving 2. Thank you for the approval of the vehicles. We were able to pick those up last week. We're very excited to not be putting miles on our own cars. You'd be surprised how many miles you can put on in a 5-mile radius. In an attempt to bring breakfast participation up at the high school, we've purchased a grab-and-go mobile cart, which you can see here. This will allow us to serve from anywhere on the campus. We can serve hot and cold items from this cart, and we're hoping those students who don't wander over to the NPR will grab something on their way to class so they can have breakfast. The 26-27 school year clearly has us focusing on opening our new kitchen at Pombo Elementary, which we are very excited to do and serve those students. We'll continue to provide professional development for our staff to transition to more freshly prepared food. And we will use Chef Ann as one of our resources, but I'd like to expand some of to get more in-depth training for the coming year, and then finally to continue to replace aging equipment. Thank you for your continued support of the food service department, and you're always welcome to come and have a meal in our cafe. That's all I have.
Questions or comments?
Just one comment that food cart that's going to be at the high school. It reminds me of those snack carts at like Disneyland, and so
Yes.
it just seems like so fun.
Yes, I'm guessing the umbrellas won't be.
We're going to
used
need
much
like
here.
Mustang-shaped items or something.
We'll have to get the culinary department to come and help the culinary kids to come help us with that.
I just want to thank you for all that you do. And also, chana masala is not an easy one, but thank you for trying it. And I'm sure it'll be tasty at some point. But I did hear about the butter chicken and the rice.
We're putting that on the high school menu next year. Yeah.
So I'm excited for it. Thank you so much.
Good.
I always get astonished at the sheer number of meals served by the department, and so kudos to the team. I know that's a lot of work.
Yes.
To prepare, and the chana masala, my kids love it.
I'm so glad.
So if it goes away, you might get some angry emails from their accounts. But they actually, when they come home and they ask them what was lunch today, their eyes light up if they talk about several items. Right, that's one of them. The cheesy pull aparts and some other ones that pizza crunchers and stuff. So that it's interesting that's not the most popular item. The cart is a great. I love the constant innovation and the drive to do something different and try to meet students where they are. I think that's super important, and I think we're fortunate from a state level that we've got funding that allows for kids to have meals at both breakfast and lunch once a day without any cost. But it also allows, I think, for our staff to then be creative, because that increases demand and allows you to actually excel at what we're actually doing. Otherwise, I'm assuming, I don't know the exact numbers, I'm going to assume maybe it was half of this when we didn't have free funding from the state that provides for that. Is that roughly? Or?
Yeah, we went from serving about 40% of our population to serving anywhere between 55 and 60% of our population.
Okay. So I think, again, great job. I love to see the new things that we're trying every time you present, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And I just want to draw attention to the little notation that was in the presentation that said, these are pictures of actual food served, all of those pictures.
Yep.
And, they're not doctored up. That's what the food looks like. And I mean, I'm hungry. But we really appreciate all that you do. You just
Thank you.
and that car. Yeah. Echo everyone.
I'm
That's a
excited
great
about
idea.
it. Please come have lunch with us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to number 10, action items. Item A, consider approval of facilities usage fees for facility improvements, total cost $41,991.67 to resurface the track at Altamont Elementary for $36,047.67, and a weather station at Mountain House High School Swim Center for $5,944. Staff report?
Yes, this has gone through the usual process, presented to the Facilities Committee, recommended to the board after their review, and we recommend approval.
Questions or comments by the board?
Move to approve of facilities usage fees for facility improvements. Total cost $41,991.67.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Boulay, student preferential vote?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item B, consider approval of contract with Go for athletic trainer services during the 2026-2027 school year, not to exceed $70,000. Staff report?
Yes, so this one reminds me of my playing days back in the 80s, where the mantra was, you play when you're hurt, you don't play when you're injured. And the person who determined that was the coach. He also taped your ankle, and it was often too tight. Your toes tingled. So when you look at that and you look at the science and the training and the availability of people to help our athletes perform, especially in the heavy contact sports, this is an essential service. It keeps our kids healthy, protects the whole thing, including the ability to celebrate things like section championships for tennis. So we recommend approval.
Questions or comments by the board?
I just have one comment. I was out at one of the tennis matches a few weeks ago and met the athletic trainer. So in addition to what Superintendent Nicholas said, she's looking at all the sports. She's observing all of them, primarily with the high contact sports, those that have typically more injuries, but she's out there. So I was glad to meet her and see that she is kind of making the rounds with all the sports. And with that, I will move to approve the contract with Go for athletic trainer services during the 26-27 school year, not to exceed $70,000.
Second.
I have a question. So in the contract, it is mentioned that the total hours is 732 with 20 average hours per week. So my question is, if we need less than 20 hours for a certain week, does the hours get rolled over to the next week, or it's strictly 20 hours?
The answer is yes.
Okay, gets rolled over. So it's a total overall for 732 for 36
Correct.
weeks. Okay. Thank you.
I had a quick question too, just regarding the 20-hour window. What happens if injuries occur outside of that window? Is it referred to like another medical group that takes care of what happens, or what's the process for like when something happens and the trainer isn't there?
It's a good question. I'll throw the ball to our former college football player while he limps up here.
He had
I
the
can
same
tell
kind
you
of
this
taping.
is it used to be that like at the football game, if a kid got dinged, the only people available to help out with the ambulance guys would walk over and it was sending the message that somebody was really hurt, as opposed to a ding. But
So it's up to the coach who's responsible for the child at that point. Oftentimes an ambulance might get called, when in some cases it may not need to be called when you have the trainer there, right? Because the trainer can discern appropriate actions, right? So in that case, the adult would be responsible for contacting the parent and or the medical professional. So
This contract we're paying for 732 hours over the course of a year. And I'm assuming that it says average hours. So that does not mean that every week is exactly 20 hours. So our staff, I'm assuming, will say, hey, listen, we've got these sports going on this week. This is the coverage we need. We think that over the year, that averages out to 20 years. And at some point, if we get to April next year and we're out of hours, staff will either extend a contract with the supplementary fund or something like that. Is that about right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we approve? We seconded already, right? So
Yes,
vote.
on a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Modi, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. And I believe we've tabled item C.
Correct.
So moving on to item D, consider approval to renew the 3-year contract with Northwest Evaluation Association for map testing during the 2026 through 2029 school years. Staff report?
Yes, this is our long-standing summative assessment. Depending on grade levels, it's done multiple times a year. It provides lots of information for teachers, student success teams, strategic support, schools to talk about, grade levels to talk about. It plays an essential role in our data analysis.
Questions or comments by the board?
I just wanted to value add one thing to that is that I've also seen site administrators involving students in the MAP scores and tracking their own progress. And I think that is like such a smart thing to do because then they're invested in their own growth. So I just wanted to value add that comment.
Yeah, I would like to add to that comment from Trustee Olson. I second that. I'm a big fan of map testing. All the students and the parents value it. I mean, the students are able to track their own progress. And with that, I would like to approve the renewal of
Can I
the...
ask, sorry, can I
Sorry.
make a comment? Is this optional? Like, are we, is this not a state mandated testing?
No, this is a district testing system.
This is something that we like to do.
We elect to do, yes.
Okay. So I'm interested to see the student trustees vote on more testing for his peers.
At the
And-
high school, it's a lot more limited. This is really focused on the
on
elementary
the lower
schools.
grades, right? So as kids are upset that they got to take this test, they should look at the 5 of us.
They should look at you with a smile on their face. Thank you for giving us an opportunity in patience.
The kids are really involved. I mean, all my kids, even before like the site administrators were really focusing on, involving the kids in their growth, it's kind of become a thing. But even back in the day, I remember my daughter coming home from school and like getting into debates about who had better map score growth with her friends. So I mean, I think it's great because we have high achieving kids that are invested.
I say everything with jest. I think this is good, and it does also put, I think, at the younger grades that don't have a lot of testing otherwise, it actually gives a little bit of that competitive spirit to that group, that that helps drive them, and also they're gonna see as they go through their career. So thank you.
Okay, with that, I'll move to approve renewal of a 3-year contract with Northwest Evaluation Association for map testing during the 2026 to 2029 school years.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Daniel and seconded by trustee Olson. And now we get to hear what the student preferential vote is.
Aye.
Very good. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes, so they can blame us all. Item E, consider approval of the 2026-2027 Lammersville Unified School District Facility Use Rental Policy Handbook. Staff report?
Yes, every year at the end of the year, we bring forward the handbook. Any amendments that have been done through the committee are updated through a board approval. We want to thank our board members who are on the facilities committee. It comes with a lot of attention at times. So we recommend approval. And if we have any questions specific to the manual, Director Jason Dixon will be available if you have any questions.
Questions or comments by the board?
I don't have any questions, but I would like to really again say thank you to Deputy Superintendent Harrison and Director Dixon for all the work you do, and also for the respect and care you show for our community members, which is very, very appreciated, I believe, because you're fair and, you know, we have processes we have to follow, but I think you also go above and beyond, and it's very appreciated.
And I will echo Trustee Olson's comments. Further questions or comments?
Move to approve the 26-27 Lammersville Unified School District Facility Use Rental Policy Handbook.
Second.
A motion by Trustee Boulay and seconded by Trustee Olson. Student trustee preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item F, consider approval of course outlines and new 3-year adoption with Attainment Company for special education curriculum in grades 9 through 12 during the 2026 through 2029 school years. Total cost $11,241.42. Staff report.
Yes, we've been working very hard in the area of special education to provide high quality opportunities in different topic areas. This went through the official process. We recommend approval.
Questions or comments by the board? I would just like to comment with gratitude for our special education department for the hard work and dedication that they provide for our special ed students.
I'll echo that comment and also move to approve of the course outlines and new 3-year adoption with Attainment Company for special education curriculum in grades 9 through 12 through the 2026-2029 school years. Total cost $11,241.42.
Second.
Got to go quicker, Trustee Modi. On a motion by Trustee Olson and seconded by Trustee Boulay, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item G, consider approval of Governing Board Resolution 252619 for specifications of the election order. Staff report.
Yes, this is part of the formal process to gear up for the November election. Area 4 and Area 5 will be up in this election cycle. We recommend approval.
Questions or comments by the board?
I'm just curious, is it, I think I saw in here like $50,000 or something like that. Is that, or maybe it said financial, I think maybe the staff report said 50,000 financial
It
impact.
does say financial impact, election costs.
How does that work?
$50,000.
Do we pay, do we get charged?
We,
as a
we, we
district?
pay for the election, yeah.
Oh,
Every election.
got it.
So when you have a special election, you're choosing also to pay for that. We are doing that here. This is a normal election, but just,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Move to approve Governing Board Resolution number 25-26-19 for specifications of the election order.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Boulay and seconded by Trustee Olson, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Wait, it's a resolution.
Roll call, please.
Lisa Boulay,
Aye.
Vanita Daniel,
Aye.
Samik Modi,
Aye.
Stephanie Olson,
Aye.
David Pombo.
Aye. Item H, consider approval of 2026-2027 Outdoor Education Science Camp Agreement at Walker Creek Ranch for LUSD K-8 school sites. Staff report.
Yes, this is the plan for next year's science camp.
Questions or comments by the board?
Move to approve the 2026-2027 Outdoor Education Science Camp agreements at Walker Creek Ranch for LUSG K-8 school sites.
Sorry, can I ask one question? Does the motion need to include the total cost or not?
The motion is of the title of the election or of the action item. So if it's not there, then you wouldn't have to say it.
Okay.
I turned the page, so I'm
It's not there.
No, it's not there. So is it supposed to,
No.
are our motions supposed to have the total
No.
cost in
No.
there or no?
No, it doesn't have to be. so.
Okay, got it. Okay, I second.
Before we vote, I would just like to say that I am happy that we are now sending all of our students to the same science camp. I always felt like it would be better if they all had the same experience, and I'm glad that's now happening.
And it would be nice if we got a group rate discount.
That too. On a motion by trustee Daniel and seconded by trustee Modi, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item I, consider approval of to renew a 3-year contract with Informed K-12 for district-wide electronic processes for the 2026 through 2028 school year for a total cost of $181,632. Staff report.
Yes, this is a heavily utilized program. It is saving us lots of money through efficiencies and moving away from paper processes. We've been utilizing it, I want to say, for 5 or 6 years now. There's been a long-standing effort to go from paper to electronic. When we started using this particular program, that exponentially sped up, and it's utilized by all departments.
Questions or comments by the board?
I had a question. I don't know, Dr. Nicholas, if you would know this, but do you know if just part of Informed K-12 requires parent involvement in filling out paperwork? I think my main experience with this is usually filling out like absences for high school. And I remember, I think a common thing throughout every year is kind of fighting with the system on like the parent permission when you enter it into the actual system. And I didn't know if this was maybe connected to the school, but is there any possibility that the filling out forms can be completely student done? Just because in the past, I know that like when I've turned in forms before, and I know this is something that a lot of students talk about, there are specific sections that ask for like the parent permission, whatever you're filling out, but oftentimes it can be completed by a student. And so I don't know if there's ever been a possibility of just moving it to being a completely like parent-free way to fill out the form. I don't know if that question made sense, but it's just
It did. So I think there's separate things here. So this is a particular program that volunteer apps and forms that people fill out for extra hours. And so that's what this item is. I think for your question, I would need more information and we can have people look into it. But if you're under 18, the rules are different. So that's really and not everybody is as responsible as you are. And that includes in the earlier item, some of the adults, right? So I think we always want things to be efficient for people. But the complication when working with children and under 18 is that how that's defined is there's some limitations there. So all I would say is, why don't we talk offline with the people who are experts on this? And I don't know what forms you're talking about, but I think if it's doable, yes. If it's not, it's not. Okay.
I will say, I know I was playing around on the website one day and just clicking things, and I know that their Informed K-12 is now for the independent study for traveling. That's all done online, which I think is actually rather convenient. You just fill in the little fields and you've got your application done. So, I believe that if it's not complete, you get an email reminder that it's not complete. So, that's easier than filling out a paper halfway and putting it somewhere and getting lost. But so for on the parent side, for the things we have to fill out that we can't let you fill out, a student trustee, I think it's great.
I think in general, right, digitization is good, right, for the district, for time, efficiency, for the user experience, data reentry, things like that. I think, though, student trustee Rodish, it's also important that people using these tools provide feedback when they think it might not be configured right, or if the form has got duplicate things like that, or whatever that people feel is inefficient. It's probably the form owner or whoever owns that process that's using the tool that feedback could go to, and say, hey, why do I need to do this? Is that, so both things could be true at the same time. So with that, I will move to approve the 3-year contract with Informed K-12 for district-wide electronic processes for the 26 to 28 school year for a total cost of $181,632.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Modi and seconded by trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item J, consider approval of contracts with non-public agencies for 7 licensed vocational nurses and 1 registered nurse for the 2026-2027 school year. Total costs $742,434.50. ProCare Therapy and the Stepping Stones Group. Staff report?
Yes, so this will provide the outside agencies who are going to help us with our nursing needs, including the addition of one registered nurse.
Questions or comments by the board?
Move to approve the contract with non-public agencies for 7 licensed vocational nurses and 1 registered nurse for the 26-27 school year. Total cost is $742,434.50.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and seconded by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item K, consider approval of second reading and adoption of the LUSD Safe Schools Plan and School Site Safety Plans for the 2026-2027 school year. Staff report?
Yes, so this is following our normal process. I do want to thank the board members on the committee and staff who serve. I also want to thank Deputy Superintendent Harrison for his facilities use. Thank you, Trustee Olson, for reminding me that we should thank our staff for their efforts as well. But again, this is a process we follow. I recommend approval.
Questions or comments by the board?
I just value add to Dr. Nicholas. Deputy Superintendent Harrison has a safety mindset. It's evident in everything he does. Like, I've done facilities walks with him, and he's very mindful of that. And I know that trickles down to all the staff, the site administrators. And I like that we're always looking for ways to improve the safety of our students and never resting at what we have. And so I just appreciate the work. And I guess I'll move to approve of second reading and adoption of the LUSD Safe Schools Plan and School Site Safety Plans for 2026-2027.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Olson and seconded by trustee Modi, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item L, consider approval of second reading and adoption of the 2026-2027 LUSD Wellness Plan. Staff report?
Yeah, again, thank you to the board members and staff who work on this. Second reading, we recommend approval.
Questions or comments by the board? I would just like to thank the staff and fellow trustees who work on the wellness plan. I know it's a lot of work, and I appreciate that work. I will entertain a motion.
Move to approve the second reading and adoption of the 2026-2027 LUSD Wellness Plan.
Second.
Ooh.
That was
Yeah.
close.
Mhm.
You're getting better, Trustee Modi.
On a motion by trustee Boulay and unfortunately for trustee Modi, seconded by trustee Daniel, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item M, consider approval of contract with Ubio for a 48-month rental equipment lease for Pombo Elementary. Staff report?
Yes, Ubio is formerly Ray Morgan. They were bought out by Ubio. This will provide the copy machines and technology associated that all their other school sites have at Pombo Elementary.
Questions or comments by the board?
Move to approve the contract with Ubio for 48-month rental equipment lease for Pombo Elementary.
Second.
On a motion by trustee Modi and seconded by trustee Olson, student preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Item N, consider approval of College and Career Access Pathway, CCAP, agreement with Delta College for dual enrollment offerings for the 2026-2027 school year. Staff report?
Yes. So there are 3 levels of college credit from a high school student's perspective. The original dual enrollment was a state opportunity provided for 2 classes in a partnership between local community colleges and a high school. The second option is the middle college or early college pathway program. We have a state and national award-winning early college pathway program that allows kids to get an AA while being in high school. And we've morphed ours to allow the AA and or lots of class opportunities for college credits. This dual enrollment is different in the sense that our qualified teachers in particular subject matter area, that means the teachers have to have a master's, can teach a dual enrollment class where high school credit and community college credit can be given at the high school site. So it's an expansion of offering. And the CCAP also, and we're double checking this, but we believe that the CCAP also is highly regarded by U.S. News and Reports. And one of their rating scales, AP classes, I'll get the most focus, but this CCAP agreement also brings in notice. So it's a highly regarded method to have an agreement with community colleges and give high school kids who want the opportunity.
Question. Students take a course, and for one course, they can get both high school and college credits for that course?
Correct. And yes.
And I just want to thank everybody who worked on this program, because I think we've done a really good job with providing opportunities for our kids, but I think adding this at our school site will give even more advantage for students who are not able to go to Delta College or for whatever reason prefer not to do some of the online courses that Delta College offers. So I think that it's just, again, giving more kids an opportunity, and it just sets them up for advantage for if they want to go on to college, that colleges see, okay, these kids can do college level work, and I think it looks better on their college application. So thank you to everybody who worked on this. I think it's a great thing for our students.
Yeah, I agree with that, Trustee Boulay, because I think there's some students that want to take the extra classes, but they don't do well with online, and so they don't want to do the online, and so this gives them an opportunity to be with an actual teacher, and do it in person, which is, their learning style. So I think, there's kids that love online. That's great. They have those options to do more. And then for other students who want to get some college credit, they can do it this way too. So
I have a few questions. This program sounds really cool. But I just want to understand, like, let's say a student from early college pathway, if the student is taking history there, can the student enroll in this and complete history in class and use this credit for the early college pathway?
Yeah, so I want to make sure I get this right, but so there's Cal GETC, that's your general education, and then and so that's really the focus. So in the particular subject matter, so let's say history, you wouldn't have to do both. You can do one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and we have 4, and it's history, psych, English, and
Psych 2.
and another
Psych
psych.
2.
Okay, yeah. So just those areas. So psych is a Cal GETC social science requirement. English, there's 3 requirements under Cal GETC. It would cover 1 class of those 3, and history would be one of 2 areas. So there's 11 areas in Cal GETC, which is typically called general education, your first 2 years of college.
Okay. So my question again is, I think I didn't get what you were trying to explain or I didn't explain properly. So let's say a student A is enrolled in early college pathway.
Right.
And student A may have to go through these classes, may have those as part of early college pathway. So, and that's going to be online. That may be or may be in person. So if the student A feels that, okay, let me take this history as part of this pathway, but complete the rest of it as part of early college, or use this credit and add it on to early college pathway, would that be possible?
So we'll double check the contract, but this is what I understand your question to be. If I'm in early college pathway and the class I have to take right now is online, and with this new agreement, I could take it in person, do I get credit for it? And the answer is yes. So you don't have to do both. You only have to do one. So if you did the in-person one, you won't have to do the online or vice versa.
So the dual agreement, this particular program, if the kid completes it here, if the student completes it in school, then the credit automatically transfers to the Delta College as part of
Correct. It is technically a Delta class.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't get that the
No, no.
first time.
So just to be super clear, one is students, you have to be a high school student to take this class. I can't say I want to take history. I
Some
read that
50-year-old show?
Yeah,
No.
and I'm not asking, but I'm stating because it's in the agreement. So just so there's no confusion on who can. It's not that we're opening up our campus to people who would otherwise take a community college course. I think what Trustee Daniel is probably getting at is this is actually really good in the sense that if you're in early college, now 4 of those classes you don't have to do separately online, and you can do them as part of your high school curriculum and get credit for it. And so probably makes it easier for them to take advantage of the program. So I think it's just an additional offering. Now, this is a program. I am curious if I was in the high school curriculum, where does this level out at? Like, do you need if you were to take honors history, would this be the equivalent of that, or is it like a level above that? Do you know?
It would, from my perspective, it would be the AP class and this class, because the AP class you get college credits if you get a 3, 4, or 5, depending on the college and all that. So that would be more analogous.
Okay, so do we think the students will take, and maybe I don't know what happens now, do students take in early college, do they take that history class, but then also take AP history? Or do they just?
No, that was a problem at the beginning that the parents were making them do both.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's one or the other because they were grinding the kids.
Right.
So, so ask the question again. I want to make
But
sure.
this would follow similarly, where
Correct.
if I wanted to get history credit from this program, then I wouldn't also take AP history.
Correct.
Is that right? Okay, got it. And this is not required for us to offer this program at the high school?
No, no.
Okay. So this is a benefit that we are offering, and I think we're grateful that we have the ability to offer this program to
Absolutely.
the community and our students.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have one more question. I really like this program, but I just want to make sure we are setting things right. So next year's college, high school courses have already been assigned and set. So when these courses come up, the counselors, like how would the counselors adjust in, making space for the students? Like,
I think that's a good question. I haven't been part of a conversation about that. Deputy Superintendent Harrison, have you been part of that conversation? Okay.
An interest survey was already sent out to get interest from students who qualify. And so we already have some student interest. And then what we would do is, if this gets approved and everything gets signed off by Dr. Nicholas and the president of Delta, then we'd go back out to those interested that showed interest, go from there. And then if we have to backfill, then we'll open it up for other kids to backfill spaces.
Specifically to the early college kids, though, would they be forced to take the online class because it's already rolling, or would there be a chance to not do the online class and be in this class?
I don't know yet. I don't think we've addressed that. I think we did a simple interest survey to see if there was demand for the classes first.
okay.
and then I think their feet will kind of tell us who's interested in which classes, and if we can get the staff to do it. If we have teachers that qualify, if they can get qualified with Delta, go through their HR process, get onboarded, and then, okay, you're a qualified Delta teacher on the Mountain House High School campus.
So,
And that's voluntary on the teacher part.
That's correct.
and we are planning to roll this out next year,
Yes.
next academic year.
You talked about the Delta HR. Would they then get a stipend or pay of some sort from Delta College, or would that just be
Potentially, yes.
interesting?
I'd like to add too that one of the advantages, at least this is the way I'm thinking of it, of these classes over AP classes is that if, as long as the kids pass these classes, they're getting college credit. Whereas with the AP classes, they have to get a 3 or higher, and there's an additional fee for taking that test. So I like this in many different regards, because the kids are automatically, again, as long as they pass the test, they're getting college credit for it.
Two comments. One question and a comment. One is the idea that, hey, we'd expand this to more classes if this is successful and we have interest and so forth?
Potentially, yes. It's also to help with all of our offerings, including early college, to kind of give us some outlets. It just gives us more elbow room and flexibility. And it gives some other students some opportunities as well that aren't necessarily in early college that may want to take just these 2 sections.
Sure.
And I've already put my feet in the water. So it's just more opportunity for our kids.
Okay,
Student Trustee Rudish, what are your thoughts, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah. Sorry. I wanted to say that this is honestly like one of the most valued programs on the campus. I think that a lot of students want to get stuff out of the way so they have more open space for future years. And so for people that are committed enough, they'll take the courses they need, they'll free up their space, and they have a lot of extra room to fill that with classes that they want to take for future years. So this is honestly, I think, one of like the most appreciated programs that we have on the campus. I have used it. I'm very grateful for it, just because of how much freedom it can give you if you're committed to actually completing the course and getting the credit. And then, I guess, it's very cool.
I do have one comment, and this is for the parents of the public, right? We have a community where the parents will say, "Oh my God, you can take college classes at the high school. You should sign up right now." And there's going to be a limit to the number of students that can be accommodated. There will be kinks that come out through this process as staff figures that out. That is should be expected, and I hope the community provides grace as the staff tries really hard to offer a really cool benefit that you guys have all seen all of us excited about in a really short time. We're approving it in May, at the end of May, and it's going to be up by August. And so thank you to the team for putting this together, getting it going. I think it's awesome. I'd love to see where it goes, but I really hope people understand that we won't be able to get every one of their kids into this class, and we'll do our best. And the staff is going to do
And
their best.
kudos to the staff. This was offered in April. Like, this was part of a conversation about change from the chancellor from the community college system. So this became truly available a month ago.
That's great job.
Yeah.
I'll move.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we're all excited to. We'll let you do the motion. You've been.
Puffed out a
We
couple
haven't had
times.
much
That way you
success
won't get
tonight.
beat on the
Yeah.
second.
That's a sure way to not get beat on the second. I move to approve the College and Career Access Pathway Agreement with Delta College for dual enrollment offerings for the 26-27 school year.
Second.
On a motion by Trustee Modi and seconded by Trustee Olson, student trustee preferential vote.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries with 5 ayes. Moving on to item 11, information and discussion items. Item A, first reading of updated board policies and administrative regulations. Staff report?
Yes, this is the first of 2 large tranches of backloaded BPs and ARs. This is focused in the social science areas. We have another round of this in the academic areas. I look forward to implementing the efficiencies that were discussed earlier in the meeting, and working the mechanism a little bit in a different way that we think will work better. Our normal process is to bring forward this as a first read. There'll be a second read at the next meeting. And that's it.
Discussion by the board.
Sure. The one suggestion I have, and I discussed this with Dr. Nicholas, is given that there's so many policies in there, is just to push the second reading out till the following board meeting, which would put it at June 17th, and it just allows folks a little bit more time to review or digest, I don't know, 40-ish policies or something like that.
I have no problem with that suggestion, Trustee Modi. I mean, this last tranche, as you say, Dr. Nicholas, was 825 pages.
Yeah.
So, you know, more time to
Light
read.
reading.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, great reading. So it is actually, it is.
Sorry, no, go ahead, finish.
Yeah, no, but I think that would be nice to, you know, have that time to really go through it again.
Yeah. There's, you know, one thing I should have said is there's 800 and something pages. The staff does a really good job of, one, it is, I don't want to underestimate how tedious it is to go through and strike through and underline and insert, you know, track your changes. And so that is a lot of menial work that is required in order to comply with a lot of these changing regulations. And on the flip side, if in the beginning of the packet are summaries of each of the policies, and so those are super useful, and they're well done, and they give us a real good guide of where to drill in on or where to focus on. And so I appreciate the staff's time. I know it takes a lot of effort. I know I ask a lot of questions around it, and I think that's speaks to some of the efficiency that we're hoping to get out of a tweaked process that Dr. Nicholas referenced. So I appreciate a lot of the effort and that goes into both the prep, the answering the questions, and I think just a couple more weeks, it doesn't seem to do us any harm, and it just allows for a little bit more time.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Like, I mean, it's not delaying anything that staff needs to do, right? And I think a lot of these policies are, you know, compliance things that we don't have a choice. We can't make a policy different than what the law requires. But, you know, being able to just kind of like read through that as a board who is charged kind of with, you know, setting the vision of the district is not a bad thing. So I'm fine with your recommendation.
And the one other change or one other thing I would ask for, and I can't remember if this is already done or not, but one of the policies on here is related to cell phones and cell phone usage by students. Many of you may have seen a lot of districts around us making changes substantially to their cell phone policies, all the way from Modesto has banned K through 12 usage completely throughout the day. Bell to bell, I think, is the phrase being used, or I've seen gate to gate. And then there's districts on all different parts of the spectrum. So I do ask that we have an information or discussion item at the next board meeting that we can discuss that, and then the second reading of all the policies be the following one after that.
I'm fine with the policy meeting being delayed to the next one. I did do my study or the read on the summaries and had a 1-hour call with my questions. I would love to read it again and just get myself thorough. So I do agree to that. With the cell phone, your ask or request is for information or discussion meeting, right?
Yeah,
Discussion
just like it would just be on the June 3rd meeting, just under information and discussion items.
Okay, I'm open to having a discussion on that.
So do we motion for at least the first reading?
I don't think we need a motion, but
No?
I just,
Okay.
just consensus. And
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it seems like you have it, but.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, great.
Moving on to item 12, calendar. Item A, Friday, May 29th, 2026 is the last instructional day of the school year. Item B, Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 is our next regular governing board meeting at 7 p.m. here in the district office. In a moment, we will be adjourning to closed session where we will discuss public employee discipline dismissal release complaint Government Code 54957. Item B, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code 54956.8 on various properties within Mountain House. Agency negotiator, Superintendent Nicholas, negotiating parties, Mountain House developers, Camilos, Trimark, Shea Homes. Under negotiation, price, terms of payment, or both. Item C, public employee appointment, employment evaluation, superintendent, Government Code 54357.6. Do I have a motion?
Move to adjourn to closed session.
Second.
Yes.
On a motion by Trustee Boulay and seconded by Trustee Modi, student preferential vote?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
We are now adjourned to closed session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Have a safe trip home.